Well, of course, the information I have is that the funds are still adequate with which to carry on the welfare program. And insofar as the transfer of funds were concerned, I would think that this would be the way to handle any business transaction, because the funds were there for the purpose of constructing medical schools out at the University of Texas Tech and down at for the University of Texas Houston. They could not possibly be used before the legislature meets in January, so it just occurred to me that we could save the taxpayers a lot of money by not calling a session and opening up the program and using this money and then replacing it when the legislature meets next January. Now, in the event that additional funds are necessary and that we will have to make another transfer of funds, I don't believe that I will have too much trouble finding additional funds with which to transfer.
This is a powered spray module, a cooling system for the dissipation of large quantities of heat from any industrial plant. The typical effluent from a condensers on a power plant installation is an example of the heat dissipation that would be taken care of by our powered spray module.
And the basic principle is cooling of the water by spraying it through the flowing air.
Yes, we cool all of the water by evaporating part of it by spraying it up into the airstream. There's a pumping system in the center float which picks up 10,000 gallons per minute of the flowing stream and sprays it up into the 4 spray patterns. There's a piping system underwater about 7 feet below the surface which transmits the water to the individual nozzles. A typical installation that we visualized would be 40 to 50 units such as you see here.
PATCO's power play has apparently pooped completely so far as the southwest region is concerned. This morning I visited every major air traffic control facility in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Out at Greater Southwest Airport, in the 500-man complement of the Air Traffic Control Center, Mr. Bud Fox reported that he had only 10 men absent, all on bona fide sick leave. We visited the TRACON, the Terminal Control Center, where the departure and arrival controllers all operating normally. All supervisors were operating in a supervisory capacity. Air traffic moving entirely normal in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. At Love Field, we talked with Mr. Buddy Lambert, Tower Chief. How has the traffic been moving in and out of Love Field today?
We've had no problems at all, Dale. In fact, it's a little bit more than previous 2 Wednesdays up until the same time.
In your complement here in Love Field Tower, do you have any members of PATCO in the complement?
Yes, we do.
Are any PATCO members working today?
Yes.
A check at the regional headquarters of the Southwest region indicated that all of the Southwest facilities were operating normally.
I have just returned from Albuquerque. I've not had a current update on the situation. And as far as this immediate region in here, this area, we don't anticipate any serious problems except from the standpoint if traffic is delayed either west coast or east coast before it reaches this area, naturally it will have an impact.
From my own personal investigation, it would appear that the professional air traffic controllers of the Dallas-Fort Worth areas are continuing to do a very professional job of controlling traffic.
The South Vietnamese government has approved our request to tour the prisoner of war camps in South Vietnam. In addition, the South Vietnamese needed permission to newsmen from all over the world to tour these camps with us. Over 100 leading magazines, newspapers, television networks, and wire services have accepted our invitation. We have informed the North Vietnamese government about this trip. We have asked the North Vietnamese to allow these same journalists to tour the camps in the north where the American prisoners are being held. If the North Vietnamese will allow these journalists to tour their prison camps, the world can know on a comparative basis how these prisoners are being treated. This trip will provide the North Vietnamese with a classic opportunity to prove what they have been saying, that the American prisoners are receiving humane treatment. It will also give the North Vietnamese an opportunity to explain directly to the whole world their reasoning in refusing to operate their camps under the Geneva Accords, and also why they refuse to identify the American prisoners they hold.
American 59.
We put the red mark on Kansas City. Frontier 65 there.
Do you have any others?